So today we're checking out the RAUMDEUTER, made singularly famous for Thomas Muller. Nearly forgot him there. How could I forget? Thomas Muller. It's literally Thomas Muller. A couple of seasons during that period coming off the right-hand side for Bayern. And it's kind of died a little bit. I think the out of possession stuff is key to maybe why that is. I think there's players out there at the moment, maybe in real life. Mo Salah potentially plays like one a little bit. Today, we're going to use Rafael Leão. Not great defensively, tremendous 1v1, good finishing ability. So we're going to try and make the most out of him. We're going to build a tactic around the RAUMDEUTER. We're going to see how it gets on in the game. I've got a couple of little clips to show you already because Leão has been on fire at the start of the season. And then we're going to play an extended highlights game, break down the role a little bit and kind of see a couple of things that's mentioned in the description that maybe might surprise you a little bit of how hard or even to what they say. This can result in quiet periods during the match where the RAUMDEUTER may neglect his defensive duties. So we'll have a real good look at that. Does he neglect those defensive duties? Something that might put a lot of you off actually using the tactic. So the RAUMDEUTER, literally translated from the German, means space investigator. His main role is to find pockets of space in which to operate, essentially a wide poacher. The RAUMDEUTER takes up seemingly harmless positions out wide, waiting for the opportune moment to burst through the defensive line for that telling shot across. So that basically means, look, he's not going to get involved in build-up, especially when the player's on the far side in particular. He's going to wait for his time and I imagine getting in at that back stick. He's difficult for defenders to pick up. He's often drift from his assigned position, so we'll have a look at that. Looking for any opportunity to exploit. This can result in quiet periods during which the RAUMDEUTER may neglect his defensive duties. Therefore, adequate cover and a strong team shape are key in order to fully utilise his attacking prowess in the final third. So with that in mind, I've built that tactic with a couple of supporting roles in a Carrilero and just the wing back on defend. We're going to do no overlapping. Theo Hernandez is just going to be a little bit of backup on that side. And we've just built a very simple 4-3-3. I wanted to do 4-3-3 so we had a little bit more space. I've done the midfield, have been a little bit more of a threat from this side. I didn't want someone kind of clogging up his space and see if we can really exploit that switch, that kind of overload at one side and then switch it across to hopefully Rafael on the left-hand side. He's done quite well so far. 4 Serie A games, 5 goals. He's also on fire for Portugal in the Euro qualifiers. We'll take a look at his goals and his assist in the 2-1 win against Fiorentina. And I said then we will play through a game. The tactic as well will be available for you Patreons. Link down in the description if you want to support the channel. That would be lovely. If not, don't worry. We will be going through the tactic that I've put together. It's working pretty well in FM, so I think you'll enjoy it. But the main idea is that, you know, a lot of these roles may change during today's video. The roles in and around that RAUMDEUTER, because we might see things in the game that we don't like and maybe just a couple of little adjustments to get that RAUMDEUTER kind of maximised as much as possible. So let's bring it back. Here he is, the number 10. Let's just see what movement. So a goal kick. He's kind of cheating a little bit. He stayed wide. You'd expect him to be a little bit narrower, maybe, but he's kind of doing a decent job. We're in possession now. So he's high, he's wide. And then he makes that run. Look, do you see that run? Like, we get lucky. Dodo's had an absolute nightmare, but he does come in and exploit, which it did say in the kind of blurb, the description. Look at that run. It's a wonderful run at the right time. Very much an inside forward kind of run. And then the assist comes, I think it ends up being a cutback, but he's involved in build-up. This is the interesting bit, when the ball goes on to the other side. So he just holds his width. Then we've got that little bit of a overload at one side so we can bring it across to him. He's got a 1v1, lovely bit of skill, rounds Dodo and then lays it off to Fofana, that box-to-box midfield run. So those were the 2 goals in that game. Goal and assist for him. This time, is maybe just a little bit of what the space investigator is going to do. I think having someone who's got good physicality, like Rafael, like he's been dragged onto that fullback there for that goal. Ball across, exploiting the fullback. You know, Rafael is a good size and he's 6'2". His heading probably won't be great. 11, jumping reach 13. So yeah, them little noddings at the back stick will be lethal. Obviously, you got that with Thomas Muller as well, didn't we? Kind of sliding in at the back stick at times. And once again, they kind of are like inside forward runs. But I think when the ball is on the other side, he's just not interested. So he keeps his width. He plays it in, sorry, to Loftus-Cheek, and now he's in. This is what was after this movement. So he kind of waits his time. If we just bring it back again. Simple passes. He's got pass short runners, one of the hard-coded instructions that you can't change. So you don't need someone super intelligent in terms of the technical creativity you'd expect from a playmaker. It's very much, I would say, nearly a physical role and a striking role. He's just making simple runs. Can he finish? Can he get in at that back stick? Maybe a little bit of pace to speed past a fullback wouldn't be bad either. But you think about Thomas Muller, he's not the greatest technical player. Hard worker, which I'm hoping we'll see from Rafael. We're going to play Pisa now. Physical, keeps it simple, that kind of player. Now you could still, and even though we know Mo Salah is super technical, super gifted in terms of creativity, I imagine having this for a Mo Salah would work superbly well. If you think of any other sort of like Raumdeuters, not just in the game, but maybe think real life, who's a modern day Raumdeuter? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Right, we're going to play Pisa. They've had a good start, they're 8th. Okay, that's our tactic. So we're hoping for a little bit of movement around this right-hand side from Emerson Royale. We know Pulisic's going to maybe come in onto his left foot. Can he then find a pass out there to the Raumdeuter? We've got Jimenez leading the line, kind of stretching the play a little bit as well. Kind of take that 2 centre-halves away, allow maybe Rafael Leao to be 1v1 at times. He's got plenty of support behind him, just if we see him being really lazy. We thought we'd see that in yesterday's video with the Enganche, and to be fair, the Enganche was getting back in, holding his kind of shape and working hard. So it is, look, isolating that fullback. So maybe a similar kind of physicality you'd maybe expect from a wide playmaker, a wide target forward. But we know Rafael Leao's got the ability to be a box threat, who's in there now, but also a bit of a winger, or a wide player, should we say. There we go, 1-0. I'd expect Marcus Rashford to be actually pretty good at it as well. So he's, look, not really interested in kind of coming out wide. He could have been an option there, allowed Theo Hernandez to be super wide, and I'll just stay in the box and see if you can give me it in that 6-yard box. Wonder if we'll see much of him out of possession. So it's enough, that's okay. I do really want my left fullback marking their right winger. I think they're actually playing with wing backs really, so he's probably covering the right centre half there. So we might get even a little bit more joy down this left-hand side. Yeah, they're playing a 3-5, 3-5 kind of, is it like a 2-1, 3-4-2-1, should I say? So if that fullback, wing-back gets caught really high, then he's going to have some joy. See that? No real interest in pulling wide there as well. He did eventually from that second pass, but here he goes, working hard. That's graft. Look at that. There you go. So I sometimes find with the descriptions, a lot of the descriptions make players out to be lazy when they're not. Like Rafael, we know he's not great off the ball anyway. I kind of deliberately picked Rafa because I thought, yeah, he's not going to be defensively great, but I don't know what else you expect from a wide player. Did good job there in tracking back. I don't think it's a real hindrance. It'd be interesting to, maybe a really aggressive right-hand side with a right winger and a left winger. But where, you're AC Milan, I imagine if you're fighting at the bottom of the league, playing a Raumdeuter might not necessarily be the best way to go. We've also got 3 players behind him as well in 3 midfielders to kind of cover. He's in decent position here. Decent shape. He's kind of just happy to stay with that wing back. Oh, so that'd be a right. So he'd be right wing back. I think what you get is if you can get maybe a good quality on that right hand side, maybe even just an out and out winger, or having a really aggressive right full back to get round that side, balls in, maybe even exploit it a little bit more. Crosses in at crosses far post. That would work as well, especially when you've got like Thomas Muller, Rafael Leao at the back stick. And here he's just acting as a striker, look. He's in and amongst it. Didn't get a score, but he could have been well part of that then. I'm really happy that the tactics I was a bit worried that the tactics that I've been building with these roles would be terrible in the game, but it's weird because I've focused on so much, not the role that we're talking about in today's video, so not the Raumdeuter, but we've focused so much about everything else around him, and it's really helped build solid tactics. He probably does need a bit of support. Like we have got, I think having a Carrilero in these areas here is a good idea. That's going to help wider. You know, he's got Teo Hernandez behind him. He's got himself 2 assists. So his movement of not hugging that touchline and kind of coming in is allowing Teo, even though Teo's only playing as a wing back on defend. I made it a conscious thing of having him not so aggressive down that left-hand side. There he is, Teo, starting deeper, the number 19. Pulisic in. He's just picking up them spare balls, and then he's allowed to drive with it, look. And he'll just come in at the right time. Like, he doesn't need to be in there. Rafael's going to hold that kind of that back stick position. So the wing back on defend is probably a good position, actually. A good sort of like role, kind of a good supporting role for that RAUMDEUTER. Again, he's got back. He's made the conscious effort to get back in. Now here he goes. Shot over the bar. But, you know, the description kind of makes you think that you're going to have to really carry him. And maybe at times, you know, when you're coming up against it, maybe a little bit more. So we're trying to kind of focus on the attacking movements of him, really. But I don't see it any different to maybe what an inside forward would do. Maybe he holds his position a little bit more. Doesn't look for runs in behind as much, especially in these areas here. He stays quite deep. He doesn't make forward runs until like the ball's in there, right into the sort of like the attacking third. Look, we'll see when he makes his movement. Like he's getting in now because he knows it's potentially going to come at that back stick. He's in. Ooh, yeah, could be an FM exploit that. Big boy, back stick. I imagine a Marcus Thuram would do it exceptionally well. Oh, good goal. Yusuf Fofana, by the way, is a tremendous pickup. I had him in my Calcio Milan save that I did with the Christmas tree. He was a wonderful volante. His attributes skyrocketed during the 4 seasons that we had him. And also, you know, these tactics that we're building as well, they're not all about just that position, because the whole game is not going to focus on, we're not trying to make a tactic where the ball constantly just goes to the RAUMDEUTER over and over again. It's about wanting to have that role in the game, but finding a good balanced tactic to kind of suit it. And I think we've done that today. Very simple in possession. Not going to dribble that much either. We've not seen a massive bit of dribbling. It's kind of, if anything, when he helps him build up, as we've seen from there, it's get it, give it, pass it shorter, as it says as one of his hard-coded instructions. And he's been part of that move there, which was pretty impressive. Maybe a real dribbling role. You know, here, could you have then dribbled and had a go, but pass it shorter? Just a simple pass allows us then to switch the play. We've got a nice DLP in there on defend who's just going to help us rotate possession. Aggressive fullback. Pulisic in, onto his left foot. You know, he's there again, isn't he? He's in a decent space. It wasn't needed, but he's helped set up the play, and then he's got himself in at that far post. So I like that. I do like the idea of where it was mentioned, like a wide poacher. I do like that he's going to sniff out chances at that back stick. So you definitely need striking, if we're talking attribute-wise, you're going to need striking abilities, attributes. You want that guy to get in there at good composure, good off the ball, getting into the right position, and then obviously good technique to finish. I think we get that with Rafael. Once again, he just played it off there. I think it was hopefully on camera. He just got it and played it. No real interest. You see the Pulisic just held it and thought, can I run? I don't really get that from him. See now, look, he's holding his width. Look at that gap. That's the wing back. So we've got a big gap because he's keeping his width. Look, he stood still. Stood still. Now he's going. The ball's coming in. I'm going to get in that box. He's in. Look at that forward run. Oh, it was a chance. We get a penalty because he would have been in there. I think we're getting a penalty. But you see the idea of the movement that he's just going to stay out of the way and make that late run. So I definitely think you need the opposite side to be quality in terms of balls in the box. Either a winger or we're playing wing back on support. Someone who's going to get far forward and deliver at the back stick, and you could maybe even tweak the instructions. So if we're into Emerson Royale, aim crosses at far post. See what we get from that. I would say, if anything, he is slightly lazy than a winger in terms of getting back in position. He doesn't get back in as quickly as what even we saw the Enganche yesterday, so there's something to be aware of. Look at him, he's in there again at that back stick. He's been in, he drifted in, played it off, and then, yeah, I'm getting in that box, exploit that space at the far post. And then he's injured. Okay, who can do the RAUMDEUTER? Pulisic, that's fine. Let's bring Chukwueze on that side. So we're now watching Pulisic for the last few mids. There he is, look, number 11. We're in. Benassa's stole it nicely. Play him, play him, play him. Oh, good football. Good football. Simple again from him, look. Get it, pass it shorter. I imagine he'll be in a good position for counter-attacks as well. That first pass, win it in that central area. I imagine he'll always be a little bit of an outlet on that side. We've absolutely dominated the game, look. It's a good performance. Pisa, it's only Pisa, but they were 8th. Started really well, look. 5 wins, got loads of goals scored. I said the idea is not to kind of show off the tactic itself and in terms of like, this tactic scores 5 goals a game. We're not after that. We're after like just seeing it. And it's easier to see it when you play, especially when we're doing the attacking positions. Easier to see games that you're expected to win. Kind of show you the attacking movements. That's what you want to see. We're not really too focused on the tactics being a bonus. That we've managed to create something that works in FM and kind of highlighting the roles. He's quite narrow there, look. Lovely movement though. He's in. Slip him. Oh, he could have slipped him, Teo. He's not done. He's not done. So he holds, then comes alive at like the last point. Not keeping his width again, look. Full time. Right, let's go and see how I've put it together in FM. I said Patreons, link down in the description. Tactic is ready for you there. If you're enjoying the content that I'm producing at the moment, you're enjoying these videos where we kind of play a game and show you the tweaks. You know, we spent Monday's video, the Libero video, we changed it constantly in the game, the tactic. So if you enjoy the content, appreciate it if you go support the channel, link down in the description. Everyone else, don't worry, we're going to go through it right now. That might be it. Who cares? Right. Sweeper, keeper on defend. For Mania, not really important. Wing back, I think this side is important. So I would go full back on attack, depending on what kind of winger you've got. If you've got a right-footed winger, I would go wing on support there, just so you get a little bit of double bubble down that side. Inverted winger, we've gone for Pulisic, just so it allowed that overlap a little bit more. Tomori, ball-playing defender on defend. Gabia, just because he can't play, this is very much suited around the team. Now, this bit's important. Wing back on defend. Teo's had a tremendous performance there. 2 assists and a penalty. But we've gone wing back on defend and sit narrower. So he just helps. I'm a bit worried that we're a little bit open. So him being a little bit narrower allows then the RAUMDEUTER to kind of stay out on that left-hand side and have a little bit more room. DLP on defend, just so he can work with him, get on the ball. We saw that switches a couple of times. That worked nicely. It's a good number, single pivot role. Single pivot roles, I do like to have the DLP on defend. The Carrilero is important because he's going to support in here, especially if there's a loss of possession. We know that Carrilero likes to obviously do the horizontal runs. The box-to-box ended up scoring, didn't he, from that, got close. Yeah, I think early on in the highlights we showed you, not in the game, but in the highlights we showed you at the start, Leao getting in and having that late run for him to lay it across to. Right-hand side, as I said, inverted winger, but you could probably sort that to be a winger if you wanted. RAUMDEUTER, very important you leave it blank. I said the hard-coded play roles, look, pass it shorter, cross left often, get further forward, sit narrower, move into channels, roam from position. There's a lot in there. There's not a lot. You could take more risks, shoot more often maybe. We could have done dribble more, but I think it was important to see him how he just plays as the basic. You know, we could have probably put dribble more on because that would have then allowed him. But I did like him that he was quite sensible in possession. It's not a creative role. It's more of a goal-scoring role, I think. And then advance forward up front. We've tried to leave as many of these player instructions blank as possible. Not many, actually, in terms of the team instructions. Positive mentality. Shorter, play out defence, slightly higher, just so we dominate the game. Dominate the game as much as possible. Allows him time as well to keep that width and then exploit that space. In transition, counter press and counter. Centre back, distribute centre halves like I normally do. High press, high line, everything else left off. That is the RAUMDEUTER. Hope you've enjoyed it. A little bit of insight into what that role does and how to build tactic behind him. As I said, the other side's important. Deliveries into the box. Can you even, as I said, that Emerson Royale role, maybe even the right back cross or the winger if you're playing a winger, cross to the back stick, exploit that. Physical player, good in the air maybe. Yeah, you kind of wide striker, remember, your inside forwards with a little bit of physicality, I think are important. A little bit of support on his side with that Carrilero and the wing back on defend, and you're good to go. Let me know if you use it. Let me know real life RAUMDEUTERs. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you later.